seeing the evolution of, the way that people play certain characters and just kind of, just that smaller extra optimization has been really fun to just, watch it see happen in real time.
Yeah, like Power in particular has gone through an evolution as a character.
Right.
About this time last year, Power was undoubtedly a pressure character, and then going to the disco kind of turned them into a bit of a gimmick character. And now you can outpace going to the disco with proper ice clears.
Right.
It's truly been a roller coaster seeing these characters develop.
Oh my god.
Right. So Scherzo is really interesting in how they play Magician, because they are extremely good racing to quota, but they also do an extremely good job emphasizing two chains, which kind of optimize the garbage you send for screwing over your opponent's quota.
Right. Yeah, especially, because I believe, there's, certain scaling points in the way that damage is sent. However, you're always going to be having that flat chain attack, no matter, how big it is. You're always going to be guaranteed that one line. So, being able to time out, how big your chain attacks are, as well as when you do the stagger attack, really scary. And one good character to practice on is Magician.
Yeah, Magician has the really signature flat lines in the back of the pattern, but you don't get to the flat lines until you start to send 4 or 5 full lines of garbage.
Right.
But because Magician is a medium strength character and not a strong character, if you only 2-chain, you're only going to send the really nasty shape. That's the 2 prongs, which is really slow to clear through. Even if you can dump your chains down the sides, you end up with a terrible situation like Butz has on his board right now, where you have to dig through this weird pattern, moving back and forth across your board, and it just looks really inefficient.
Yeah,
and the way it's inefficient. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, and the really scary thing about being in that situation specifically is that Magical Drop kind of has this weird limit of how fast you can go, kind of it's jokingly and lovingly called the speed limit of the game. So not being able to mash out movement whenever you want to, and having to play at the game's pace, really scary if you're having to go back and forth just to save up awkward position.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, but speaking of going to the disco, we have Power on deck, so talk about the disco story if we are able to get in that position.
Buck has it on deck, and he's gonna do it.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so we've got our iconic disco is the ability to convert clear ice orbs into any power up you want. This includes the rainbow orb. However, rainbow orbs, unlike every other power orb, they don't clear themselves when they go off. So you can, when you pop ice and make a bunch of rainbow orbs, they'll stay on. You don't have to make an extra effort to preserve them like you do every other power orb. So it's really easy to just make an infinite number of them on a pattern like this that spawns an unbelievably large amount of clear ice.
Right.
Tower also notable for only having rainbow orbs as power-ups. So if you get a power-up at all, wow, just like that, Butz has already evened it up 1-1.
Again, counterpick war, very strong. And now, this game specifically is going to be really huge, because whoever, wins this game, even if they lose the next one, they have the Game 5 counterpick, which means that they can basically finish the set on their own terms.
Yeah, this is especially an interesting match, because this is a character both of these players play a lot. Butz is extremely notable for being a high-tier player, and Hermit has seen with the decline of Fortune and Power as as pressure characters due to the discovery of the disco and optimizations in their ice pattern. Hermit has seen an explosion in popularity as the second father strength, basically.
Right.
Because no matter how you slice it, Hermit still has an unbelievably difficult pattern to hack through. You really have to optimize your floating, much like Butz is doing right now. He's doing a fantastic job managing this pattern, as Scherzo having a little bit of trouble dealing with these sides, and the left spire is going to take him out.
Yeah, he's again, this is a very, case when you're being wild. You can see Scherzo trying to go in for an all-in style, just bring his board all the way down to the bottom, but, not getting quite full damage, as well as Butz just kind of staggering just enough to the point where if Scherzo has to take a break, he's going to start feeling pressure.
Yeah, Butz doing a fantastic job of, even though he's floating lots of orbs to give himself extra time to chain and making, which slows the pace of your quota down. He's doing a lot of micro optimizations by making double matches. So even though his float chain and his chains are coming out more slowly than Scherzo's, he's still keeping up. He's actually been leading on quota the last two matches.
Yeah. And again, it's just because, Scherzo is being forced to just dance left and right, doing these crossover clears just to keep his board in a, active and livable state.
Alright, okay. Other end of the tier list. To probably my best character. Lovers is a really interesting character because she's the same color pattern as Fool, who is pretty the worst character in the game for pressuring your opponent. But the same shape as Hanged Man, who is actually, regarded as a high tier for pressuring your opponent. So you end up with this weird mix of, if you properly manage your damage and what you send to your opponent, you can actually have a pretty nasty pattern for pressure, and you can force them to send you garbage that is incredibly easy to clear.
Right.
Because despite having the same shape, you kind of want to play Lovers, Hanged Man the opposite way. Hanged Man is very much so a character where you can just freely chain as much as you want. It doesn't matter what garbage you're sending to your opponent. Just staying alive is the priority. You really have to count your orbs and things like that to make sure you don't brick. But Lovers is like the opposite. If you freely chain as this character, you send huge swaths of Fool's pattern, which is just going to instantly lose you the quota race.
Right.
See these massive clears that Scherzo is getting on his side.
But now he's kind of forced into that weird brick situation, but yeah, no, ice he doesn't care about the ice, it's all just kind of really afforded to him.
Oh, the damage, unfortunately, pushing Butz is, really nice pattern out of shape. And that's gonna cost him.
Yeah.
Alright, we have a game 5 situation. Where are we gonna go? Hanged Man! Alright. We've jokingly liked to call Hanged Man the money idol exchanger character in Mag Drop, because this really is you've got to count all of your orbs. You have to make sure nothing is left over, or you'll run out of material to work with, much like Money Idol Exchanger, and it really does not matter at all how much you chain.
Right.
And the way low strength characters like Hanged Man average out, you send one line per chain link. So doesn't matter if you're doing an 8 chain, you send one link, or one line per chain. If you're only doing a one chain, you still you'll probably send about one line. So it doesn't really matter whether you're sending ice or whether you're sending pure or regular orbs. It's pretty hard to dig through either way, since he doesn't have any clear ice. There's no fancy optimizations you can make to get through it. It really is just a matter of keeping your board clean. And we're off to a very close match here with 1-1. They're pretty much neck and neck in quota.
Yeah, but just opting, instead of going for like the stagger pressure, he's just trying to go for like that max chain, trying to, jump as far into the lead and quota as possible whilst just setting, this massive pressure into Scherzo. Right now, Butts on his tournament, or not, on his winner's point, trying to punch and secure himself a safer spot into the bracket.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the few characters in the game where there's like absolutely no benefit to stagger pressure over just making full chains.
Yeah,
it really separates him from most of the other characters. Butt's doing a very good job floating orbs to give himself as much time as possible to make these extensions. Oh, but he's running a little low on material here.
Yeah,
oh, sneaks a nice double clear though.
Have to get that blue into the center, and we are so safe right now. Oh my god.
We have to. It's coming down to the wire on quota though.
Yeah, oh no.
Butt's throwing one too many matches and letting Scherzo sneak underneath for the quota.
Right. And I think now we're in a funny position that we haven't seen at all between our two matches is Game 5 set, where we will have like ice being introduced into the starting pattern.
Yeah, a fun discovery we've made over the last year or so is that if you go to the last round in a game, the starting board is going to have ice, and Scherzo is going to take it. After a very, very close, very, very hard-fought match.
Yeah, I don't know how that snuck right by him. But yeah, again, all those, like, the Hangman, all those matches were just super close on quota. It just came to who was going to win the endurance.
Yeah, Hangman, a wrist-hungry character.
Yeah.
You have to make a lot of matches to make it to quota.